When you pack up your life and move to the other side of the world, you're usually running away from something, or you're running towards something. But no matter your reasons, when you land in a place like Thailand, you instantly feel like an alien. The language is a wall, the culture is a puzzle, and the heat hits you like a wet blanket the second you step outside of the airport. Naturally, you look for your own. You look for the people who speak your language, understand your cultural references, and look like you. And on paper, the expat community sounds amazing. It's painted as this beautiful, supportive brotherhood of modern-day nomads, adventurers, and free spirits who help each other navigate the chaos of living abroad. But let's take off the rose-tinted glasses. Today, we are talking about the dark side of expat camaraderie. Because the truth that nobody warns you about before you buy your one-way ticket is this. Your biggest threat in Thailand isn't the chaotic traffic or the visa regulations. Often, your worst enemy is the guy sitting right next to you at the expat bar holding a Chang beer. So, welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan Unleashed. Let's talk about the toxic subcultures, the bitter gatekeepers, and the absolute sharks hiding inside the foreign community. So, to understand why expat camaraderie can turn so toxic, you have to look at who actually moves abroad. And there are generally three types of expats. You have the professionals, the digital nomads, teachers, and business owners who are building a life. You have the genuine adventurers who love the culture. And then you have the third category, the escapees. These are the guys who couldn't cut it back home. They fled a messy divorce, a failing career, a criminal record, or just an inability to fit in to Western society. Thailand is beautiful because it's a place of reinvention. It's a clean slate. But a clean slate means anyone can write whatever story they want about themselves. And I call this broken island syndrome. When you put a high concentration of people who are running away from their problems into one small geographical space, like Chiang Mai, Pattaya, or Phuket, you don't get a community of enlightened travellers. You get a pressure cooker of unaddressed baggage. Back home, these people would be filtered out by standard social circles. But in Thailand, because you share the common trait of being foreign, you end up sitting at the same table with them. You form friendships based solely on proximity and shared language, but not shared values. And that common ground is a dangerous illusion. In the expat world, camaraderie is often skin deep. It's a transactional alliance. People are friendly because they are lonely or because they want something from you, whether that's a drinking buddy, information on how to skirt a visa law, or a target for their next scheme. So, let's break down the specific characters you encounter in these communities, because if you've spent more than a week in Thailand, you've met at least one of these three. Number one, the bitter gatekeeper. This is the guy who has been in Thailand since 1998, and he will never let you forget it. He speaks decent Thai, knows the back streets, and views every single newcomer as an annoyance destroying his country. Now, the gatekeeper doesn't want to help you. He wants to belittle you. If you ask a simple question in an online forum or at a bar, like, how do I renew my driving license? He won't give you the answer. Instead, he'll say, if you can't figure that out, you shouldn't be here. Or, Thailand is ruined now, too many casuals. He derives his entire sense of self-worth from being the enlightened white man In Asia, if you show up and navigate the system easily, you devalue his entire life's achievement. He needs you to struggle so he can feel superior. Next, we have the bar stool philosopher. This is the most exhausting person in Southeast Asia. He hates his home country, calls it a communist nanny state. But guess what? He hates Thailand even more. He sits in the same sports bar from 11 a.m. to midnight, drinking cheap lager, complaining about everything. The Thais are out to get him. The government is corrupt. The food gives him diarrhea. The girls are all scammers. And he traps new expats in his vortex of negativity. If you are excited about your new life, he will make it his personal mission to crush your optimism. He'll tell you, just wait, mate. Give it a year. They'll take everything you have. He is miserable. He refuses to leave, and he wants company in his self-made prison. And next, we have the expat shark. This is the dangerous one. The shark is the foreigner who has figured out how to exploit his own people. They know that new arrivals are confused, vulnerable, and desperate for a friendly face. The shark will buy you a drink, introduce you to his connections, and offer to help you set up a business, get a premium visa, or buy property. Because he looks like you and speaks like you lower your guard. You trust him more than you trust the locals, and that is exactly when he bites. 90% of the horror stories you hear about foreigners losing their life savings in Thailand don't involve a local scammer. They involve a fellow Westerner who talked them into a dodgy investment, a fake partnership, or a ghost real estate deal, and then vanished into the sunset or hid behind Thai legal loopholes that foreigners can't navigate. Now, if you do manage to succeed in Thailand, if you build a successful business, create a popular channel, or marry into a great family and live a genuinely happy life, do not expect the expat community to applaud you. The expat subculture suffers from a severe case of crab mentality. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one tries to climb out, the others don't help him. They reach up and pull him back down so he suffers along with the rest of them. What I'm trying to say is that there is an underlying jealousy in the expat world because so many move there to escape failure. Seeing someone else achieve massive success in the very place they are struggling creates deep resentment. They will start rumours. Oh, he must be doing something illegal. He's just exploiting people. His Thai isn't even that good. And this toxic behaviour has found its perfect home, you guessed it, on social media. Expat Facebook groups and forums are some of the most vile digital spaces on the internet. It is a non-stop festival of trolling, doxing, and bitter arguments. If a guy posts that he had a bad experience at a restaurant, 50 people will jump on him to call him an idiot. If someone asks for advice on moving to Bangkok as an example, they get torn to shreds. It simply creates a high school environment wrapped in a midlife crisis. Everyone is gossiping, everyone is watching everyone else's business, and everyone is waiting for you to trip up so they can celebrate your downfall. So, the question needs to be asked. Why do we stay in these toxic circles? Because the alternative is terrifying isolation. Many expats fall into the trap of foreign community because they fail to integrate into Thai society. They live in Thailand for 5 years but don't learn more than 5 words of the language. They don't have any genuine Thai friends. They only interact with service staff, bartenders, or romantic partners. When you don't speak the language of the country that you live in, you are effectively deaf and mute. You are entirely dependent on the expat bubble for your intellectual stimulation and your social life. You are forced to breathe the stale, toxic air of the expat bar scene because you haven't built a bridge to the actual country outside the door. And let's be honest about the romantic side of it too. When expats get into relationships with locals, the expat community often acts as a saboteur. You'll have bitter, single expats whispering in your ear, questioning your partner's motives, generalizing an entire nation based on their own terrible choices at 3 a.m. in a red light district. So they want your relationship to fail because your happiness highlights their loneliness. They want you back on that bar stool next to them and complaining about the world. So, what's the takeaway here? Am I saying you should avoid every foreigner you see in Thailand? No, absolutely not. I have met some of the most brilliant, inspiring, ride-or-die friends of my life abroad. People who would drop everything to help you out in a crisis. But those people are rare, and you don't find them by diving headfirst into the generic expat scene. The secret to surviving as an expat is to treat the foreign community with extreme caution. Keep your guard up, don't mistake a shared passport for shared character, and just because someone was born in the same country as you does not mean they are your friend, your brother, or your partner. Focus on your own path. Learn the language, respect the local culture, build a life that exists outside of the expat bubble so that you don't rely on it to feel alive. Be polite, be friendly, but keep your circle small, your eyes open, and your business to yourself, because in the jungle of paradise, the call is often coming from inside the house. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you run into the bitter gatekeeper or the expat shark? Let's talk about real experiences down below. And if you want the raw truth, hit that subscribe button. This is Dan, Unleashed, and I'll see you in the next video.